it's a group that they're coached well. They know exactly how to play what they're being asked to play. They have some weapons, and so it's a tough opponent. We got to be ready.
Can you elaborate a little bit more on that relationship with Zach? I know he was at Texas A&M as a graduate assistant when you were considering going to professional. Then he joined you in Miami. So how far back do you guys go, and what's that relationship like now?
Yeah, the first time I met him was at A&M. I was actually down there. I'd called Mike Sherman, who was the head coach, and asked Sherman if I could come down there and just, this was literally right after my last year as a player at New Orleans, and could I just piggyback and be a part of it. And Zach was a grad assistant who was really coaching tight ends. So I came down for spring 3 or 4 weeks, and I just sat in the room with him and helped him with that. That was new for him, just that position per se. But I quickly learned, like, okay, this kid's pretty sharp. Like he had a real good grasp of, really all of it. But some of the fundamental stuff is what he'd pick my brain on. Anyway, so that's where it started. And then certainly Sherman brought him on, and I got retained at Miami. And then we went on from there, and then, he became my coordinator for a few games. No, he was not in the trailer. He was with his wife at his home. I was not. I was in my trailer.
That's about limited some of the other big plays with Jamar. I think he leads the league in 40+ catches before. Just how big of a challenge is that? How conscious do you have to be about him kind of getting downfield and making those big plays?
It's a challenge. It's a big challenge. He's an explosive player, and it's one thing to be as explosive as he is, but it's also Burrows. He knows when he's got it, and he's looking at rotation and he's reading safeties, and he's got a green light, and so if he feels it, he's going to throw it, and he's making some dang good throws too. So it's a threat. But however, we just came away from a threat too, and Jefferson was no joke over there at Minnesota, and we had a plan, and we'll have a plan for him. It's not going to be easy, but our guys they'll be ready to execute, and we'll have something to handle these guys.
It was about Ragnar, so obviously another big hit. Can you confirm that at all? Your thoughts on this situation as well? Yeah,
so Frank had surgery yesterday. It went well, and he'll be down for the year. So we're going to miss him. He didn't want to do it either. He did not want to do it, but it was the right thing. So. But we'll miss him, we'll miss him. And there again, Evan Brown's got to step up. I thought he did a good job last week, and he's our guy, man. I expect him to continue.
Does that to make sure that Frank will be available for next season as opposed to waiting until the end of this season?
Yeah, it's just once you do that, you're not getting him back. So the rehab and recovery is going to take too long to get him back with surgery. So.
That conversation to have with a player that obviously spends months and months getting ready for the season to shut him down like that?
That's tough, especially for somebody like him. I mean, that's why you brought it up, but it is tough because he feels guilty, and he doesn't need to feel guilty. That's why you love him though too. Like he wants to be a part of this, and he feels like he's letting guys down, and that's just the opposite. It's like, no, that's not. You're being unselfish when you need to be selfish about this, because maybe there's a chance you get him back at the very end of the year, but there's a bigger chance that however it scars in, it's not properly healed the right way, and we're dealing with this for the rest of his career, or it gets arthritic sooner than later, and now it's like, what are we doing? So it was the right thing to do. It was significant enough to where it needed to be fixed properly and let it heal properly.
With the game, Trey said, nobody feels sorry for you in this league, and I think that's kind of the way it is. But you ever look at the amount of injuries and the players that are being injured, your leaders, your guys, your foundation? Can I catch a break?
No, I haven't done that yet. However, I'll say that we were up there looking at the big board 2 days ago, the roster board, and it was like we took a scan at that IR pack, and it was like, whoa, yeah, I guess that is right. We have lost that, Akuda, Aquara, Rec. But honestly, I don't, and maybe because I've been around it enough as a player and a coach, it's like, man, this is not. I'm not shocked. Maybe I should be. I'm not shocked, and because I do know that that's the nature of this game and of what we're asked to do, to deal with, and knowing that's why depth is important. That's why it's important to develop players. That's because they got to be ready to go at a moment's notice, and they may be your starter for the rest of the year.
Do you expect Taylor back at practice? I know you said he was maybe looking towards Wednesday.
Yeah, we're going to start his clock. He and Strong, we're going to start their clock today. And so we'll start working them into practice and see where that goes. So that's about all I've got. It's about all I can tell you. I don't know. We'll just see where Decker goes and how he feels and just take it from there. But at least we can start working with him on the field, true football.
What would it mean to get those guys back? Maybe to speak to that, if and when.
Yeah, I mean, it would be. Look, it would be good. I mean, certainly Decker is. He's a good player in this league. He's one of the top tackles, and to be able to get him back would. I mean, it would be good. Certainly, it'd be good. Now, Matt Nelson hasn't. Matt Nelson has gone in there and done a nice job. So. We're prepared to move either way. If it's Nelson for another week at right tackle while Decker's still getting his feet under him and getting everything right in the feel of it, we're good with that. We'll be ready. And so will Nelson. No, you're good.
On Monday, you talked about the struggles of getting an incident in the red zone, specifically the red zone turnovers. Just after looking over the tape the past couple of days, is there anything else that popped up like, hey, we need to really work on this so we can go ahead and start out early, because it's having the first half start with no touchdowns, in the first quarter and that?
Yeah, it's, one of the things that we did say is that we have to still be able to run the ball efficiently like we do now. That's not what that means is that's been a positive for us, and we have to continue that. And I think everything does start with the turnovers. So you're asking me anything better? Well, we can always do a lot of stuff better. But I do think we have to continue to run the ball, and we have to eliminate these turnovers. And I think we have to be a little more creative in the red zone and be a little more – we just need to I think there's a certain way that we need to play in the red zone, a certain style, let's put it that way, that can help us.
Yeah, sure. Every week, how big is it to get that first win? But for you, obviously the mindset, seeing that you stayed engaged, you stayed positive. But I mean, for fans here, they look at it, it hasn't been an 0-6 start here since the 0-16 team. I mean, for you as well, what's the biggest difference between the mindset this year and what would you say to fans who might start thinking of that? Like, man, we get memories of that. It's been so much heartbreak over the years.
Oh, I know. And look, nothing I'm going to tell them is going to make them feel any better. So all I can do is try to prove it, show it, and not me, us, all of us, staff, players. I know, look, everybody's frustrated. And I don't know all the ins and outs last year. I wasn't here, but I do know this about this team. They're just like they did today. They came in ready to work. They're hungry, and they'll be ready to go out there and put their best foot forward and improve. And that's really all we can ask right now. And in the end, it'll pay dividends, and we just got to stay that course.
I know you were home in Texas, I think, for most of that 2008 season. Does this, to your recollections, does this feel anything like at the start? I mean, does it feel completely different in some ways? How do you?
Yeah, it's tough to say because I wasn't around very long. I mean, I got hurt, I guess, week 1, and I was home by week 2. So, I would say it's kind of hard for me to say that one way or another.
You mentioned Joe Burrow earlier too. I just wanted to. You were down in Louisiana when he was sort of blossomed. Wondering if you have any good stories, recollections from that. Not that you were watching him that close since he was playing in college, but also how he's grown here in his second season.
No, I mean, no good stories as it. Anything like that. Certainly, he's a legend down there. I mean, LSU, and you win a national championship. He can walk on water down there. So, but we saw all those games, and he was the hot talk, and just how much he really had blossomed from his senior year. I mean, he just really erupted and evolved into this, top-notch player. But he. Been fortunate to have, Joe Brady, who's the OC at Carolina, was with him and just raved about how smart he was, and how much information that he could absorb, and the amount of checks that he could get to, and how he could read coverage, and and then obviously make all the throws. So, and which you see. So he's done a nice job. I'm sorry.
I think we're seeing a similar blossoming this year, and we talk about that all the time. Year 1 and year 2.
Yeah.
When you throw on the film, and what do you see from?
Yeah, I mean, you see a good football player. You see a guy that you can tell is he's getting him into the right play. He knows exactly what he's looking for, what he's been coached to do. In the run game, his run game checks. The pass game, they do play a lot in empty, so he can see it, and he sees it very well, and he knows where to go with the football. And he's got some weapons. I mean, he's got about 3 or 4 answers that he can go to by just the look, and he can throw the heck out of the ball. He's a pretty accurate quarterback. He's got poise in the pocket. He's got the ability to scramble. He's not a running quarterback, but he's got the ability to scramble with his eyes downfield, and he's got pocket awareness, and those are tough. Those are tough.
Last reaction to the Gruden situation, and what do you want to say about the NFL workplace to people around the country that are wondering, is this how it is?
Yeah, I just found out last night. I've been in a cave, so I don't even have a comment about it. I mean, he's out, and those comments are out, and it is what it is. And so I don't see the workplace any workplace to me has always been good. Everywhere I've been or what we've been a part of, I've never seen anything toxic, so I don't know anything different than that, if you will.
One last one. Looking at on Sunday Night Football, Drew Brees on broadcast was talking about how you guys were texting. He had a lot of good things to say about you. Do you care to tell us a little bit about that conversation or how that went?
No, that was just, look, Drew is, I got a lot of respect for Drew, and I still go back. I probably wouldn't be standing up here if it had not been for Drew Brees as the quarterback from where I came from. That's the reality. I mean, the better you are, the better everybody is. Better he is, the better we all are. But shoot, he shot a text to me just talking about how impressive it was. It was like, my God, man, those guys are fighting. Those guys are not giving up. They're fighting. He goes, you guys are close. And he doesn't send me a text every week. I know him well, and we're friends. And but I know if he's sending me something, it's because it means something. So that's why, kind of spoke volumes. But so that was kind of that was it.
Thank you.
Yep.
Thank you.